Hello Kelly. Hi. Hi guys. Hi Bruno. Oh yes, that was the reading from September. That's an old reading, but yes, thank you for watching as usual. Oh dear, the screen's gone again. I don't know how this chat is gonna go, but hopefully it'll do okay. I mean, I can see the words, but unfortunately it's not showing up here, is it? Oh well. Anyway, how is everybody? So yeah, I'm here to do a fortnight check-in. If you remember when I asked everybody what they want from me this coming year, you all thought maybe one video a week was too much, so we're trying the fortnight thing. And why not? Why not try now? I know it's not the new year yet, but why not try now? So that's what I'm doing. Although there will be a video next week as well, because I have to do the yearly reading, the Astro Clock reading, which I'm very excited about for doing that, because that'll be my first time doing that live, and also the first time I do it with my proper cards, because when I did that reading I didn't have a proper deck yet. I was using a little paper DIY deck back then, but still all the same meanings to the cards and everything, nothing different about that. So yeah, so I'm excited about that, but let's get on with the reading for today. We'll worry about the next reading next time. So is the chat still working? Because it disappeared from the screen. Hang on, let me just check. I'm still no expert at this stuff, so I'm sorry if there's two streams again or something. I really don't know what I'm doing regarding all this, but I see comments, so you must have connected with my original streaming anyway, which is not the one I'm seeing the chat of, but anyway. Okay, so let's get on with it. So we have, as usual, we'll use our Aquarius deck for Mew and our Van Gogh deck for Gulf. And as I mentioned in the description, I have a new deck here that I'll be using as well. And as you can see, it is not opened at all. So it'll be exciting to see what awaits us when we open this deck. Is that noisy, guys? That's my phone vibrating on the wall. Should be alright anyway. Oh good. This writing's come back up again, that's good. What did you think of Gulf's video and his show? Thumbs up so I can understand. Yeah, oh my gosh, I'm still kind of reeling from all the emotion of that show. I had the privilege of watching it live, so I saw it all, and wow, just blew me away. Like, who would have thought? 10 guests. Gulf could have easily had anyone pretty much there, but he chose to have his closest circle. He really showed us who is in his closest circle. Now I'm not sure about the two extras though. I'll call them extras because I don't think they're in the closest circle, and that would be Inko and Smith. I don't think they're in the closest circle at all. You could just tell from the interactions wise of stuff that Gulf was a lot closer with his family and his work stuff. But you know, they still had great interactions. They're still friends, they're still colleagues, they're still whatever you want to call them, but you know, I think the way the shippers are going crazy about the interaction with Smith is very naive, because I love following your reading. Thank you, Bruno. Do you like the automatic chat highlight, guys? I finally got it working. Yeah, I just think it's a bit naive and kind of, yes, I'm going to use the word delusional, because clearly it was a skit. Gulf's reaction to what Smith said was, you know, it wasn't the kind of reaction you get from someone who is very aware of, you know, someone being in love with them and you know, a relationship basically. It's not the kind of reaction you get what we got from Gulf there. That's more like, what are you talking about, my friend, sort of caught off track reaction. Maybe Gulf didn't know that Smith was going to say that, maybe it wasn't rehearsed, but I can assure you that that's where it ends, you know. It's not, as much as it would be nice, it's not what shippers think. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on that matter. Everything else though, I just loved how he sang with his dad. Excuse me. I just loved how he sang with his dad, how his mum even got up and got involved. I mean, remembering the early days, she was so camera shy back in the day. It's amazing what she was able to do up there, along with Mild's mother and his first teacher apparently. It was so sweet, so sweet. And I love that the song was 60s as well, because it really brought the old wholesome vibe to another level as well. And even the way his dad was singing with him, and the matching clothes, just everything, and even his work staff. Now, if anybody ever doubted the way that we keep saying that Gulf feels like his work family is his family, that proved it. That proved it. Gulf really does trust everyone on his team, love everyone on his team. It was all there, and then on top of everything, he brings back mild, counter, and high from Tharn type. Now, I know it was really sad that Mew wasn't there. I know, and I think it's kind of, I don't know why everybody's so quick to point out the obvious, because it was obvious he wasn't there, and there's obviously a reason for that. You know, I've told a few people now in private messages, like, just think about it. If Mew had been there, what would have happened at this time? At this point in time, Mew is still very much involved with the other parties. So what would have happened? It would have been World War III between the shippers and the Feebles, for sure. So, you know, I think possibly it was a mutual decision between the both of them that they decided to not do it at this time, because it's not the right time. Or if Gulf really did invite Mew and he refused, it would be more like that Mew refused for a good reason, and it wasn't because he didn't want to do it, it was because he wanted to protect Gulf. Have you seen how people were attacking Nunu, as in Z Nunu, and how Z really came and said, you know, you stop this, you horrible, vile person? Like, I'm sure that's what Mew would love to do, but at the moment he can't do that kind of form of protecting for Gulf because of the situation. So he wouldn't be able to say or do anything if people started hating on Gulf on behalf of him being involved in something. So it's just not the right time. But still, the cards still say that, you know, possibly in the next 6 months. If you looked at the last reading I suggested to everybody about Aquarius, then you know exactly, you know, what I'm talking about. Like, yeah, I mean, they were down to 3 years. He's been sitting on this decision for 3 years. So, you know, that's pretty, you know, pinpointed. And, yeah, I mean, it's really sad he wasn't there, I know, but it's also kind of a relief that he wasn't, because it would have been a lot of drama and a lot of unwanted negativity surrounding such a beautiful occasion. So another time, guys, you know, it just has to be that way. And if you look close enough, if you look at everything, there were very subtle reminders everywhere of Mew being involved. There are even FBI Waanjai, as usual, spotted a lot of things, like even this subtle choice of using a cassette in Mew's new MV, not MV, new single promotion and Gulf's backdrop. So, you know, there's simple things like that. And I'm in the house. Now, I know that somebody pointed it out to me on YouTube that the house was definitely not the same house. But just look at all the similarities. I mean, maybe changing that fencing design was all part of it to, you know, sort of camouflage that it was the same, the exact same location. Think about it. There's just so much in that video that is so similar, and I don't think every Thai home has the same sort of what do you call it, blueprint to its interior designing. And yeah, like even I said it in a comment earlier, even down to just everything being covered in white sheets. Did anybody else remember another MV that, well, it's not an MV, but another video that had that? Do you remember Mew's MV for Thor? He had everything covered in white sheets. It reminded me of that, but instead of having that cold, chill feeling that Mew's video had, it had that warm, returning home vibe with Gulf's video, which I think is really fitting. So yeah, it was just so amazing to see mild, counter and high there. I think it's also telling like how high was there. First wasn't there, and many other people from Fan Type weren't there, like Tanya was another very noticed person, or what's his name? I know his name in the show is Thorn, but I keep getting Tong. Is it Tong? P Tong? He wasn't there either, and I'm sure they could have been there if it really was, you know, meant to be a full reunion. But obviously it wasn't meant to be a full reunion. It was just meant to be sort of a small taste of nostalgia, I think. Mild had to be there because he's a big part of everything. Kauna has been involved. I mean, if you remember, I think it was last year or possibly the year before. Time goes so quick these days. Kauna accompanied Mild to a Waanjai event on our birthday. So, you know, it was just right for him to be there. And Hai, well, I mean, he was only in the second season, but he's become and stayed very good friends with Gulf and Mew for that matter. So I suppose, you know, it is what it is. And yeah, it was great to see them all. It was great to see them all. Anyway, enough about that, guys. I'm here to do a reading, not to talk your ears off, okay? I'm amazed by the Mewgulf coincidence. I think that must take a lot of your energy to make 2 videos in the same day, and recording a live stream on top of that must leave you very tired. Well, no, because the 2 videos that I released earlier, I was only doing finishing touches on them, which was adding the subtitles to them. I actually finished editing them probably a week ago. So it's not that bad. It's not that bad. As long as I pace myself and I do things, you know, at a reasonable level, it's okay. But doing all that type of editing though, I hope that's the last of its kind, because that is, yes, it does take a lot of time and energy to do that kind of editing with bringing the cards up and everything. That's why I did this. I've said it before. That's why I've done this live system, so that I can cover everything on the live, and there will be very little editing that I have to do, apart from if the live goes in and out, just using the recording to realign everything, and also of course adding the subtitles, which is the biggest thing at the moment, because I have to do the spell check, which takes a long time. But anyway, as I said, let's get on with the reading. Get on with the reading. Gosh, I keep getting distracted. Alright, so I think we'll start the reading today by opening the new box. I'm just so excited about this box. I want to open it. I want to see what it holds. So let's open this box. And I think what I'll do is see. What should I do? Ask a question. Trying to remember, when I first opened my first new box, I asked the typical question, are Waanjai delusional? But I'm not sure if I should do that again, since I've already asked many times. It's like, how many times can you ask, Katerina? Hang on, is that the right side up? Yes, okay. So these have not been shuffled, these cards. And as long as the card on the top isn't full, because that would be the first card if the cards are in order, then we will take this as being whatever the card is. So I'm going to turn this deck over and let's see what the other side, what the card on the bottom of the deck is. But question first. Let's say, I still haven't decided. Okay, let's pull 3 cards. The top 3 cards, we'll take those and we'll say, what is the likely outcome regarding Mewgulf? How's that? Okay, we'll do that. All right, so hang on, you sir. To try and keep this up here because you can't see. Okay, so no shuffling going on here. Let's see what this card is. Oh, it is the Fool. Hang on. If the next card is the Magician, then I will shuffle them because it means they're in order. It'll be the first deck I've got in order, mind you, but let's see. No, it's not in order. Okay, just having the Fool, the first card, was a coincidence then. So we have the Fool, the Chariot, and the Lovers. Oh my goodness, that is so in line with the reading I mentioned earlier. She mentioned so much about the Fool being the new start, the Chariot being you know, wanting for it to go ahead, and the Lovers, well, obviously it's about 2 people. So that's amazing. So wow. Now I realize why I was out of cameras, because I'm using the wrong screen. So let me just switch that. That's better, isn't it? You can still see me in the circle, so I don't know why I was doing that. Okay, anyway, yeah, wow. So they're the first 3 cards we got out of this deck. Wow. So that's the vibe between Mew and Gulf. That's a lovely start to this reading today, I think. The Fool, the Chariot, and the Lovers. A new start is going to happen between the 2 of them. Can't be any more, you know, straightforward than that, I don't think. That's wonderful. Okay. Alright. Now, after doing that, I am going to shuffle these cards. And, yeah, let's see how we go. So, I think I might leave these though, because I want to remember that. So, let's just keep that there. And I'll shuffle the cards now. First time I've shuffled these cards. Are they still up the right way? They're not. I have them upside down. There we go. Oh, no. I didn't want more cards. I just wanted to shuffle them. Well, what I got here anyway is kind of, yeah. So this is the outcome. This is the outcome for Mewgulf. But what's currently happening, because that's what was going through my head just then, shuffling, because I'm moving on with the reading for how they are feeling right now today. We got 9 of Swords, 10 of Swords, and Page of Swords. I think Page of Swords came out first though. Page of Swords. So, yeah, wow. Since we got 6 cards from that, it's pretty cool. But I haven't really started the reading yet. Oh, I've still got the full card behind that. Whoops, hang on. Let me fix that. Well, actually, I have to take the chat away because we need to do the cards now. Anyway, starting with the full, very convenient. New beginnings, as I said, new beginnings is very much there. Let's move on to, where are you? The Chariot. Also, I've put all these cards in order, so it should be much easier today. So the Chariot, movement, progress, action, integration, determination, willpower, control, direction, departure, and courage. So very much it's in progress, that means. This new start between Mew and Gulf is in progress. Between the two of them, with the lovers. There's the lovers there. Oh gosh, I forgot to cover the... Oh well. I don't think there's any kids watching anyway, because I said I set the thing on YouTube for that. But anyway, I might have to fix that sometime. Anyway, love, harmony, relationships, union, partnerships, etc. It's pretty straightforward there. And then these 3 cards down the bottom. So let's see what all these swords are about, because that's what the vibe would be right now, as I said. This is the future vibe, or the likely outcome, and this is what's going on right now. So Page of Swords, where are we? Page of Swords. There it is. No, that's Pentacles. Whoops. Wrong one, guys. Sorry. There you are. Page of Swords. New ideas, curiosity, thirst for knowledge, new ways of communicating, restless and mental energy. Yeah, so right now they're still thinking up new ways of how to make this happen, pretty much. And 9 of Swords, if I remember, that's the Nightmare card. Yep, the Nightmare card: anxiety, worry, fear, depression, nightmares, insomnia, hopelessness, trauma, despair. And 10 of Swords, of course, is painful endings, deep wounds, betrayal, loss, crisis, failure, collapse, and defeat. I actually have a feeling Page of Swords was meant to be after them now, but anyway, we've got it that way, so we'll leave it like that. So it doesn't look like I'm changing things. But yeah, these 2 cards really make me think of what that other lady said in her reading about Aquarius, that there's definitely some hesitation, sitting on a decision, because of fear of what other people will think. Clearly that's it. Fear of what other people will think. And that may not even be fans. Other people could mean family members, could mean their family members, as in the other party's family members, could be fear of what the consequences would be of a sudden decision to drop everything and change direction. Yeah, so it does fit in for Mew in particular. For Gulf, well, I think the current situation would be like a nightmare to him as well, and 10 of Swords, because he can't be with Mew in public, right? So it sort of fits both of them in a roundabout way there. Alright, now, these cards are pretty eager to tell me things, so I'm going to put them away though, and get back to our normal routine, because while I have a new deck, I'm not changing up how I do readings. It doesn't happen. It's not going to happen. But I may come back to those later, we'll see. So let's start with for Mew. We'll just keep in mind that those cards are what we got before. Try and remember them. And let's ask about Mew individually now. How is Mewsuppasit feeling towards gulfkanawut right now? How is Mewsuppasit feeling towards gulfkanawut right now? Oh, we have one card is already flipped. The Three of Swords. Another sword card. Three of Swords is like heartbreak, misfortune and anguish. Alright, and what else? How else is Mewsuppasit feeling towards gulfkanawut? Oops, I just saw cards. Forgot to take the meaning cards out again. I need to make myself a reminder or something to do this. Okay. How is Mewsuppasit feeling towards gulfkanawut today? Right now. He's probably asleep, but how is Mewsuppasit currently feeling towards gulfkanawut? Oh. Page of Pearls. Attentive, adept, self-development. Interesting. Page of Pearls is Page of Coins, if you didn't know already. The meanings on these cards are slightly different, as I keep saying, but we'll pull it up on the screen to find out more. And one more card, possibly, Aquarius. Can we get one more card for how Mewsuppasit is currently feeling towards gulfkanawut? Whoop. Ten of Swords came out again. There you have it. Ten of Swords. So Mew is he's really anxious, really worried. Yeah. Painful ending, trauma and crisis. Painful ending. I don't think painful ending is the case unless it's a painful ending with someone else. But no, I don't think Mew's trying to end everything, because if that were the case, it's already been done years ago, right? No. It seems more like trauma. And what else? I've got it up still here. Deep wounds, crisis, failure, defeat. It's like he sort of feels defeated at this point in time about where he stands with golf, at least in the public eye. I think that's sort of what it could be saying there, those cards. Or it could be, hang on, let's have a look at Page of Coins. Well, here's Three of Swords first. Heartbreak, suffering, grief, emotional pain, sorrow, hurt, divorce, and loss or depression. So the Three of Swords could even be about the inevitable breakup that has to happen in order for things to move forward. And then Page of Coins. Manifestation, financial opportunities, skill development, ambition, desire, and diligence. So this could even be actually, I know we said towards golf, but it kind of all relates, since he has to end something to have a new beginning with golf. So Three of Swords could be about, as I just said, the inevitable breakup. And then Page of Coins, he manifests it, he wants it to happen, but then Ten of Swords, he's kind of feeling defeated right now at this point about how to go about it or how to make it happen, because he's in so deep, as we know. So yep, that makes sense. All right. Okay, so since I used my other cards for description on screen now, I don't feel the need to pull them out physically so much now. I feel like I can use any cards, so I'm going to use the new cards as the clarifiers. So let's see, what can you tell me more about this Three of Swords? Whoa, you see what I mean? It really wants to tell me stuff, this deck. Alright, so we got the Fool again, new start, Eight of Wands again. Well, no, we got the Chariot, didn't we? But the Eight of Wands is very similar to the Chariot. It's like, let's get going. And Page of Swords. Trying to find new ideas of how to make it happen. So Three of Swords. Mew really does want this new beginning. The Three of Swords has to happen before this new beginning can happen. And then Eight of Wands. Get it going at a rapid pace if possible. What are his ideas and plans about doing that? That's what this Three of Swords is about. Okay. And what about the Page of Coins? Tell me more about this Page of Coins, please. I haven't named this deck yet either. What's it called? The Light Seers Tarot. The Light Seers Tarot. What shall I call this deck? I have to think about that. I'm not sure what I want to call this deck. Light Seers? Light Seers? Well, for now, if you like the name Light Seers, we'll just keep going with that. So tell me more about this Page of Coins card, please, Light Seers. What's this Page of Coins about for how Mewsuppasit is currently feeling towards Gulfkanawut? Oh, that was a flip over there. King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles. Hang on, let me pull that up. Which is right above the page by chance. King of Pentacles. Page of Pearls, King of Pentacles. So Page of, let me just remember. Manifestation, that's right. Manifestation, financial opportunity, ambition, desire, etc. King of Pentacles. Well, first up, look who's there. Virgo. It's a Virgo card. Wealth, business, leadership, security, discipline, abundance, prosperity, and generosity. So that's one big reason why it's holding him back. In fact, if you watch the video of that other lady, she specifically said that it's financial tethering or financial attachment to this current situation that is holding Aquarius back the most. And I have to agree with that. You know, all the business connection, all the financial opportunities he's got in the last 3 years by being involved with the businessman tool. Yeah, that does make sense. All right, and what about the Ten of Swords? Tell me more about this Ten of Swords, please. Light Seers, do you like your new name? If you like your new name, then please tell us more about this Ten of Swords. How is Mewsuppasit feeling towards Gulfkanawut right now with this Ten of Swords? Again, we get more cards than I asked. King of Wands, Page of Wands, and Judgment. Okay. King of Wands. Start with King of Wands. Oops. King of Wands. King of Wands is, I believe, a Sagittarius card. Yes. Oh, a Scorpio as well. There you go. So that's Gulf. That's Gulf there. King of Wands is Gulf. Natural leader, visionary, entrepreneur, big picture, overcoming challenges, mature and career focused. So as mentioned in my last reading, it's possible that part of Mew's hesitation to do anything in regards to reuniting with Gulf in public is also because Gulf is very career focused, and he's giving the impression that he's already moved on, or that he's being very mature about the matter as well, which may not help Mew in that regard for, you know, moving things along, perhaps. And Page of Wands. Inspiration, ideas, discovery, limitless potential, free spirit, exploration, excitement, freedom. So this could even be, this is a fire card, so this could still be talking about Gulf. Gulf right now is in a very happy place regarding his work, his family, pretty much everything else except for his relationship with Mew being public, I think. That's pretty much the only flaw in his life right now, is that that's not happening. So Mew could be, you know, really hesitant to bring more drama to Gulf's life, perhaps, or to make it public, that he has been having all this drama in the background all this time, perhaps. Could be that. Again, it's Mew. Mew is not, he's not liking what he thinks people are going to react like. He's not sick of pleasing the world, or don't want to please the world anymore. He still cares what everybody thinks, though. He still very much cares what everybody thinks, what everybody's opinion is. So this is holding him back in a great way. And what was this? Judgment. Now the Judgment card is also Scorpio, I believe. So this really is all Gulf, which is interesting. Let me find, where's Judgment? Gone past it, where are you? Oh, there it is. No, that's Temperance. Whoops. Sorry, guys. There it is. The other angel. There you go. Judgment. Okay, so it's not Scorpio exactly, but it's the card that is linked to Scorpio through the planet Pluto, and also linked to Gulf through being a fire sign. If you see here, we've got fire and Pluto, so that is still Gulf related. Judgment, rebirth, inner calling, a new phase, absolution, reckoning, awakening, redemption, forgiveness, mercy. Okay. So this Ten of Swords card, feeling defeated, hopeless, not seeing a way out of his current situation. I wouldn't say it's purely because of Gulf as such. I'd say it's more because of what he thinks, because as I said, the lady said, it's because of what people are going to think. She used the term that people will think he's lost his mind or gone crazy, or is making the biggest mistake in his life if he does go in the new direction that he wants to go. But then later in the reading she said that she doesn't see that as being what people actually think. She sees that as more of what Mew thinks people think or will think. But in the end, the actual outcome that it was for that reading was that people would just be like, I should have known. I should have known. I you know, sad we didn't see this coming. This is actually what possibly Tull and maybe his family or his friends or anybody who really supported them would think. Should have known. Should have seen the signs. Should have seen the signs that it was only a matter of time before this ended. That's kind of the overall vibe that she said she was getting from the other side. So it's not, in other words, it's not going to be a huge shock. It's not going to be as big a shock to people what Mew decides in the end as he possibly thinks. And I think this Ten of Swords is really him overthinking what people are going to think. And because we've got so many cards here referring to Gulf, I think it's definitely focused more around what they're going to think about him regarding Gulf than what they're going to think about him regarding Tool. I think he feels like Tool can look after himself. He's shown that, in fact. He's never really protected him or had that mothering feeling around Tool the same way as he did for Gulf and other people in his life, in fact. He just lets Tool be Tool and, wonder behind him. Oh, he might fall and break his leg or something, but, he can look after himself. That's the vibe I get so much when I see them like that. But, yeah, I think perhaps he even knows that Tool will take this outcome as what I just said. I should have known. Bit upset with myself for going along with it for this long and not calling it off when I could have before you did, but I should have known. It was only a matter of time. Couldn't be as happy with me as you could with someone else. It's all like that, and Mew probably knows that. I don't think Mew is as scared to, let's say, hurt Tool as he is worried about the result of his decision on the one he really loves. Like I said, what happened with Nunu. It's a vicious world out there when people don't like the person you're with. And yeah, it seems that way to me, that the biggest reason for Mew's hesitation, while he's painting himself the villain in many people's eyes, the biggest hesitation he has to go back towards Gulf is that he doesn't want Gulf getting hurt. He doesn't want haters to attack him. He doesn't want to affect Gulf's high point in his career right now. He doesn't want to pull Gulf down with him, perhaps. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Just see this card. See, even this one, even this card, this is the King of Wands. If you just look at the image of this card for a sec, let's say this is Gulf, this guy up here with a torch, and this lion back here. Do you see this lion back here? I don't know, but for some reason I'm thinking Mew and millions even are watching from a distance. Watching from a distance. In fact, not just millions, but actually Thai millions is what it makes me think of, because you know how protective Thai fans are. And let's face it, into fans like us, we really know only half the story. If anybody knows if Mew and Gulf have been, associating with each other as friends or more behind the scenes, it would be Thai fans who have seen them but haven't revealed anything, or have been asked to keep quiet or something like that. So yeah, that kind of makes me think of that Gulf is very much up the top here. In his career, he's very watched, very followed, and he's holding a torch here proudly. Actually, on the wand he's holding, that's how he's the king. There's a crown that's on fire. There's a crown that's on fire. It's being held on that wand. I feel like that's almost like Gulf is still holding a torch for Mew, but Mew is back here watching from afar as well. That kind of comes through for me as well with that image. That's interesting. That's interesting. Okay, so let's get the Norman cards out too, because they always bring a different light to the subject. Bruno says, I can tell from the way you talk that you do it with care and love. Well, thank you, Bruno. Yes, it's true. I do love what I do. I do love doing these readings. Alright. So, little deck. This is your first time meeting light seers, right? So, please tell me, starting with the Three of Swords, the Fool, the Eight of Wands, and Page of Swords, what is Mewsuppasit thinking about his situation with Gulf right now regarding these cards? Three of Swords, the Fool, Eight of Wands, and Page of Swords. So is this about Mew knowing he has to end the current situation in order to have a new start with Gulf? Is that what these cards are about? We got home. Interesting. Home. So that's Three of Swords and home. It's almost like he's got to separate himself from possibly family, from what he feels comfortable with, his comfort zone. He's got to do this. He's got to detach himself from his current home, luxury situation in order to have the new start. Or it may even be, if we go back to Gulf's theme for the show and everything, it could be he has to return home. Mew has to return home. As in Gulf. Mew has to return home in order to have this Three of Swords happen. Still, I think in order, the Three of Swords would have to happen first, and then he would return home. Alright, and what about this Page of Pearls, or Page of Coins, sorry. Page of Coins and King of Coins. What are these? Page of Pentacles and King of Pentacles, proper name. Page of Pentacles and King of Pentacles, what are they about? So this is very much about financial security, setting up with future in mind, etc. Let's see. Clouds. We got clouds for that one. So yeah, that really goes back to what I was saying about in these cards over here. He's worried and anxious about pulling Gulf down with him. Perhaps, you know, the biggest thing of all, if he does make the decision he wants to regarding his current situation, would be financial situation. It would be his financial status. Possibly people would want to take him down as a result. Like I've said many times before, he really is between a rock and a hard place with all these investments he's made regarding, you know, his business partnership with Tool, because most of their business associates were Tool's friend first. So if anything goes pear-shaped, he's kind of on his own. So yes, I can understand why clouds comes up for that. He doesn't have clarity of what his financial situation would be in the future if he did take this turn with Gulf. Or not if, because he wants to. It's more like when. when. So I think he doesn't see a turning point yet. It's coming, but he doesn't see it himself, the turning point of when he'll be safe enough, when he'll have enough saved up to keep him financially stable if he leaves the current situation. That's what it kind of looks like. Somebody woke up. Morning.
Hello there.
And alright, then about this Ten of Swords. Tell me about this Ten of Swords. Is this Ten of Swords really about him overthinking things? About how he will be perceived if he chooses golf? We'll say golf because these three cards really pointed to golf. So is this really about how he would be perceived if he chooses golf in the future? Is that what this Ten of Swords is about? Is this what he's overly anxious about? The consequences of choosing golf in the future? Or is it possibly, putting it in a different light, is this Ten of Swords more about still being attached to golf by fans? Is that the nightmare? No, it's not. Look, I got Bear. Bear straight away goes protection. So everything we said about Mew protecting golf, Mew, protecting golf from haters, not wanting to pull him down, painting himself the villain, but secretly protecting golf in the meantime. And also, as we said with the lion here in the background, protecting him from a distance. So it's all about protection there, the Ten of Swords. It's all about protecting golf in the future. Wow. All right, so I think that's a pretty straightforward spread for how Mew is feeling towards golf right now. He wants to with the Eight of Wands here. He really wants to have this new start with golf, but he has to break something off first or change something first. If it's not an actual breakup, he has to change the situation first before he can. He doesn't see a clear way of doing that, and he is very adamant and it's a big deal to him about protecting those he loves. Mostly golf here, because 3 cards really pointed to golf. So that's the biggest thing for him, is to protect golf. Okay, let's put those ones away and let's see how golf is feeling now. See me still on screen there, critics. Okay. So we'll be putting Did I just show you a card then? I don't know if I did. Well, just in case I did, that card was the Hermit. The Hermit, which is a Virgo card. But in this case, I think it's saying Mew has to go within. He has to search within for the answer. The answer lies within, in Mew's case. All right. And this one over here. Try not to show you a card by accident. All right. Just one shuffle there. Okay. Now, let's get Van Gogh out. And let's see how golf is feeling. Hello there, Van Gogh. So how is gulfkanawut currently feeling towards Mew? That card wanted to come out there. But please give me 2 more cards, Goey, if possible. How is gulfkanawut currently feeling towards Mewsuppasit and the current situation? Whoa, oh goodness. A few more cards than I wanted, but okay. Page of Cups. Page of Cups. King of Cups. Cups, emotions. Queen of Wands. Yep. Queen of Wands, if I remember, that's a Pisces card, I believe. And Queen of Cups, wow. Wow. King of Cups and Queen of Cups, that's a pair right there. Okay. Alright, so let's pull them up. Page of Cups. Page of Cups. Creative opportunities, intuitive messages, curiosity, possibility, happy surprise, dreamer, sensitivity, new love. Yeah, intuitive messages really stands out to me there, which to me would point to all the coincidences still happening, Alright, and King of Cups. King of Cups. King of Cups is Aquarius and Pisces. Nice. So that's Gulf. That's Mew very much there. Emotionally balanced, compassion, diplomatic, control, balance, supportive leader, tolerance, empathetic. So that could mean Gulf is still very tolerant and empathetic towards Mew regarding the situation. Or it could mean that he knows that Mew is very tolerant and under control. He's controlling the matter. Could be that as well. And he knows this through the intuitive messages that he's getting, perhaps. And what about Queen of Wands? Queen of Wands down the bottom here. Scroll, where are you? There. No, that's King of Wands. Queen of Wands, there we go. Queen of Wands, courage, confident, independence, focus, zest for life, determination and joy. Also again, yes, it is a Pisces card. So I feel like intuitive messages, like I said, would possibly point to all the things we still see connecting Mew and Gulf together. Gulf takes those connections as what they are and remains emotionally stable about it, and takes those messages as a sign that, you know, Mew is in control, he is in control, and they're being tolerant for the time being, or patient, you could say. But they are still enjoying life. They're not just sitting and pausing life. They're both still enjoying life for what it is. For both of them, whatever that means for them as individuals, they are still enjoying life. No matter what the current situation is, they are still enjoying life. Determined to still enjoy life. Not going to sit there depressed because they can't be together yet in the public eye. And then Queen of Cups. Queen of Cups. All the way back up here, Queen of Cups, there. Compassion, comfort, calm, nurturing, healing, emotionally stable, intuitive, and caring. So yeah, this takes me back to a past reading as well, or a past reading or two in fact, where it really does seem Gulf is the one who has the most intuitive messages. He has the most intuition, the most trust in destiny, the most trust in, you know, what will be, and he has that having that mindset allows him to control his emotions, to remain stable, and to also be like a healing, a beacon of healing for Mew as well when he comes to find him, so to speak. All right. Well, yeah, I think that's pretty good. All right, so let's get Lightseer's cards back here, and let's see what else we can get from these cards. So please tell us more about this Page of Cups. How is Gulfkanawut currently feeling towards mewsuppasit with this Page of Cups? Lightseers. How is Gulfkanawut currently feeling towards mewsuppasit with this Page of Cups? Tell me more about this Page of Cups, please. Or it could be new love, but I feel it's more the intuitive messages comes through for me, especially because of it being repeated again in the Queen of Cups there. So, interesting. We've got Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles. Now, usually Seven of Pentacles, I'll just pull it up here. Usually Seven of Pentacles can be about rethinking things, but in this case, I think it's more about the long-term view, perseverance as well, and possibly investment, like emotional investment. So yeah, like I said, I think Gulf is the one who really sees things working out in the future, no matter what. He hasn't lost hope. And you could say this card here is like Gulf looking down on that tree of love or tree of connection, his roots that he has with everybody and everything. So in my last reading we went through all this as well, like where his roots are. So like in the picture here, we have 7 coins. Each coin could represent a different I don't know what's the proper word, a different category in his life. One could be family, one could be work family, fans, career, interests, then could come love, and then could be something else, who knows, maybe what lessons he's learned or something like that. And it's the same in this card. These bulbs in the ground surrounding the roots could also be like that. So he's getting, I got intuitive message very much from the Page of Cups. So he's seeing, or he's feeling that intuition that he's doing the right thing, just to persevere and not focus on what's happening right now, but focus on the long term, what could happen in the future. Invest in future. Invest in the future for those two, for him and Mew, rather than what's going on now. And that could be whether they are currently talking as friends, etc., or whether it's more the twin flame matter, where Mew needs to awaken as a masculine and approach Gulf first. Whichever way that is. Gulf knows where he stands in regards to how he feels, and that's not going to change. He's overseeing that in his life, and he's happy with the growth, and that's it. There's even, if you look at this picture, the guy, he has light coming from his hand there. Almost like he is the one who's making it grow. He is the one who's making it grow. But then that also makes me think, you know, light comes from a light source, which could be the sun in this case for natural light source. So it could be in his hand he holds what he still feels is the love of Mew, and or his connection with Mew, and he keeps feeding that into his little tree of hope, or little tree of life, perhaps, and making it stronger, because where the light is hitting in this picture, it's making the root thicker. So yeah, kind of makes sense. All right, and what about this King of Cups? I know I could be looking too far into these with the cards. This is just what I'm getting straight off. I'm not deliberately trying to get something out of every image. That just, yeah, occurred to me. All right, King of Cups. This is King of Cups. In regards to how gulfkanawut is feeling towards mewsuppasit, this King of Cups is, what was it, Aquarius and Pisces. So very much Mew's card here, King of Cups. So how is Gulf feeling towards this King of Cups? He's feeling that Mew is in control, that he's being tolerant of the situation right now. Whoa. Alright, so we got 8 of Cups, which is like the walking away card, and 9 of Wands. Let me just move this a little bit. You can still see everything, yep. Alright, so 8 of Cups, like I said, the walking away card. Go back to, yeah, he's watching, he's overseeing everything that's happening. King of Cups, he is tolerant of it all and understanding that Mew may have to leave. Mew has to leave his current situation first. That's the first thing that comes to mind. But wait, let me get the card up. So 8 of Cups is a Pisces card, so very much this is Mew. Disappointment, abandonment, withdrawal, escapism, walking away and leaving behind. So I think escapism, walking away and leaving behind is what Gulf knows Mew has to do. And the 9 of Swords, of course. Oh, but hang on, no, that's not 9 of Swords, that's 9 of Wands. Silly me. 9 of Wands. That's more the fighting card, isn't it? Yes, courage, persistence, test of faith, resilience, boundaries, last stand, gearing up for worst, pessimism, and weary. And this is Sagittarius and fire, so this is Gulf. This is Mew, and this is Mew. Gulf knows that Mew has to choose to walk away from his current situation and that he is struggling to do so, but Gulf is continuing to have courage and feels like his faith is being tested, but he's being resilient about it. Like we said, he knows where he stands, where he feels, you know, what he feels, regarding investing in a future with Mew. And not so much focusing on the current situation. So he's being resilient when it comes to what's happening right now. Alright, and what about Queen of Wands? Queen of Wands. What's this Queen of Wands about for Gulf regarding Mew? What's he thinking with this Queen of Wands regarding Mew? Whoa. 6 of Cups. 6 of Cups. Nostalgia is one of them. Queen of Wands was zest for life, wasn't it? Zest for life and joy. So yeah, Six of Cups is remembering things. Let me pull the card up. So this would be like, they know that they can't be together right now, but they're not letting that hold them back in life, as I said earlier. How long since the live started? I just logged in. We've been going for about an hour now. Welcome, by the way. So Queen of Wands is, it could very well be Mewgulf choosing to enjoy their life now and not put it on hold just the way they want to be right now, based on all the good times they've had, based on all the memories. Could even be, it makes me think, you know, like how Waanjai are so good at focusing on the memories, while we do still connect coincidences and everything that happened. They're very good at going back and looking at what has already happened, all the happy memories. And every time, well, not every time, but most of the time when we do that, we tag and mention both of them. So they see them. They see our memories. So that could very well be what is keeping them going at the moment. You could say Waanjai are like playing a huge part in the red thread that holds them together right now. Not entirely, but a big part of it. Where are we going? Six of Cups we want, don't we? But on the other hand, I don't think the red thread would break if Waanjai, you know, left them, let's say. If we just decided that's enough, you know, you do with your life what you wish, we've had enough. If that were to happen, which it won't, there'll be at least one Waanjai who still holds on, trust me. But if that were to happen, I still think Mewgulf would still stay strong with their connection. It just wouldn't be pointing it out to the rest of the world who are oblivious to the matter. Anyway, Six of Cups, familiarity, happy memories, reminiscing, childhood memories, innocence, joy, and nostalgia. So yeah, and this is a Scorpio card as well. So yeah, very much I think possibly more on Gulf's side than Mew's. He lets all his old happy memories keep him going. I mean, just the fact that he just did his concert in a theme of return home. Return to our home. That's very much like what it's saying here with these cards. He is reminiscing in everything that's happened in his life, and he's grateful for all the good memories. He's grateful for being born in this life. I've seen a video saying that's translated that for us. So yeah, Gulf is just happy and grateful to be alive, basically, at the moment. And he waits, you know, for the future happy life with Mew to happen. But he knows that Mew is struggling, fighting with himself and others, I suppose. You know, he knows that Mew is in between a rock and a hard place at the moment with walking away. There. I'll pull this card and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to try and look at it from a different perspective so, you know, critics don't say I'm being biased. There's one, Queen of Cups. So what's this Queen of Cups about, Lightseers? You were eager to tell me. King of Pentacles. Queen of Cups with King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles. Now that was about protecting financial security, wasn't it? To me, this kind of means that Gulf thinks that there's nothing to worry about. Gulf thinks that he has the means to feel financially secure no matter what happens. Or even if that's not the case, that it wouldn't it wouldn't be as important to Gulf what his financial status is because of where he's at right now, with how much support he has. I mean, it would affect him, of course, and he would be sad if, you know, suddenly he went downhill, but Gulf is the kind of person who wouldn't sell his integrity, he wouldn't sacrifice more important things in life just for the sake of money. And I think beacon of healing, intuition, etc. It's like Gulf knows that they'll be okay no matter what anyway regarding financial matters, which I agree with, because I think, you know, as shocking and possibly life-changing it could be if Mew suddenly changed his path, he's still going to have people supporting him no matter what. And of course, because of Waanjai, a lot more people are going to come to the table and want to support him again more fully, because we still all kind of support him from behind the scenes. If you're a Waanjai, you know what I mean. But we'd come more forward and like really support him if he made the right choice for himself, if he listened to his intuition and got his life back in alignment, let's say. Then yeah, I think we would be able to keep them financially secure just with our support. I really do. If you look back to how it was back in the day with Waanjai's support, I mean, they were selling out every show, they were selling out every product. They weren't even having to ask that much. We were just really, what's the word? We were really, what's that word I'm thinking? Generous. We were really generous with our love for the two. And we would support them together and apart. We would support them in their individual events as well as their couple events equally back then. Not so much now, but like I said, you know, we still support him, but we are held back a little bit. Gulf is so patient and he knows that things will work out in the end. Exactly, Nadine. Yes, that's right. Gulf is the emotionally stable beacon of healing for Mew, really. Yeah, alright. And what I said, I was going to go back and try and paint this another way. Oh, hang on, King of Pentacles. Well, we had it up before, didn't we? But No, I think I won't. I'll leave the Six of Cups up there because I need to try and paint this another way, and that's the card that will be hard to do. So I'll leave it that way. So intuition, Seven of Pentacles. If you want to paint this like on purpose here, we're going to try and go negative towards the possibility of Mewgulf being together. Just for a second, guys. Just bear with me. Alright, so we're going to try this. So it could be that Gulf is... Perhaps Gulf has an intuition that it's over. That it's never going to work out between him and Mew. And so he's looking over what he has already had in his life. And feeling happy and accomplished with that. And... you know, with this little light that I was speaking about before, maybe this is the little light he has left from the sun. He's happy to have that. He sort of has the feeling that that's better than having none, having no sunlight, light that is strengthening his root. That love that Mew showed him back in the day is still to this day having an effect on him. It's still holding him strong in his roots. But he knows that you know, in order to control things, control the situation right now, that him and Mew have to continue appearing to have walked away from each other, or really have walked away from each other, despite how hard it may be. To totally, you know, leave the idea of being in each other's lives. But he will hold on to the memories and let that help him enjoy his life from now on. He'll just hold on to the memories and be happy to be alive, as I said. And do his emotional healing. Continue to be a beacon of healing for other people. With his financial stability. How's that, guys? Was that... It still wasn't that negative, was it? Because it still shows that Gulf really does care and holds his time with me very as a very precious thing, a very precious memory, and even something that possibly still strengthens him to this day. He knows that Mew was a big part of this route of his beginning of career, perhaps. So even trying to paint it negatively, it still comes up with Gulf thinks the world of Mew. That's the overall message I'm getting here. Gulf thinks the world of Mew, and despite the current situation, world of Mew. So, like you said, Nadine, Gulf is so patient and he knows things will work out in the end. Going back to that positive aspect, yes, he does. Alright, and let's get some Lenormand cards on the matter as well. So please tell me more, little deck, about this Page of Cups and Seven of Pentacles. Is this Gulf really listening to his intuition and sitting back and watching as his love grows, as his life grows? What's this Page of Cups and Seven of Pentacles about regarding how Gulfkanawut feels towards mewsuppasit right now? Didn't flip. Page of Cups, Seven of Pentacles. He's got the intuition and the belief in the future working out. Long-term focus. So he believes that him and Mew will work out in the end. Is that what this is about? Oh, I got two cards there. Mice there. And anchor. Interesting. Mice and anchor. Mice and anchor. Well, that puts a different spin on things, sort of. Mice and anchor. Perhaps because mice is like less or reduce, this card can mean. Perhaps the anchor can mean stability, but it can also mean like being stagnant or stuck. So perhaps this is Gulf deciding to stop feeling stuck, or to take his life off pause whenever he did this. He's deciding to just get on with life. Like, wait for the future to happen, get on with life for now, possibly. Maybe I should pull one more card. Give me one more card, please, little deck, for the mice and anchor here. Give me another card for the mice and anchor here. Just a point. Child. Yeah, so feeling less stuck and stagnant, ready for a new a new beginning. Child, new beginning. And this is in the future, so it could be, yeah, Gulf is ready for the new start. He's feeling less stuck, less stagnant because of all the intuitive messages he's been getting lately. And he's going to, well, these cards are going to show probably that he's going to flourish in this new start. I hear a little girl crying, so just give me a few minutes, guys. I'll be back in a second. Yes, yes, I'm coming. You cried. All right, we'll pretend you cried. We'll pretend you cried like normal. Okay? Look, here's Daddy.
Hello there. Let's get you some milk.
Okay, I'll leave it to Dad then. Okay. Mum's doing cards.
Can I please see you do it?
Well, you can, but you're going to get your milk from Dad in a minute. So how about you go and drink your milk first? All right, so let's see what this King of Cups, 8 of Cups, and 9 of Wands is about. Oop, card already fell there. House. Interesting, because the house came up for Mew before. Hang on, let me remember. What was it? House came up for the three of Swords, wasn't it? The house came up for the 3 of Swords.
Again.
That him having to come up with a way to leave his comfort zone.
Yay.
Was the 3 of Swords. And now this is coming up here, also about the 8 of Cups and 9 of Wands. So as we said earlier, Gulf knows that Mew has to walk away from something, and he is currently fighting with himself and possibly others about how he's going to do this, when he's going to do this, about leaving his comfort zone, about leaving his current situation, about leaving what feels like his safe zone right now. Also financially, if you skip to this card. So that makes sense. It all fits in with the other reading. For how we were reading the cards before on purpose to be negative, unless we say the house could represent Waanjai, and it could mean that if Gulf is going to leave Mew behind, he may have to leave Waanjai behind as well. But that's doesn't feel right. Doesn't feel right for that. All right, and what about Queen of Wands here? Queen of Wands with 6 of Cups. So zest and joy for life. Both Gulf and Mew are just gonna keep going, enjoying life for what it is. Despite what the current situation is, they're not letting that hold them back from enjoying their life right now. It really shows too lately with stuff going on. We have the Man here. This could even be, if the Man is Mew, then this could even just be Gulf in particular is not letting what's happening with Mew hold him back right now. He's enjoying the memories with Mew and continuing to enjoy life. Possibly even still continuing to enjoy his time with Mew in private. It could also be pointing to, if they are, as we believe. And what about this Queen of Cups? Whoop, that didn't flip. Queen of Cups and King of Pentacles. Queen of Cups and King of Pentacles. What is Gulfkanawut currently thinking towards Mewsuppasit with his Queen of Cups and King of Pentacles? You already finished your milk. That was fast. Queen of Cups and King of Pentacles.
What are those cards?
I think Dad's calling you. It's my new cards, but I think Dad's calling you.
Can I have some of this?
No. Queen of Cups and King of Pentacles. What's this King of Cups? Sorry, Queen of Cups and King of Pentacles about, please, little deck? How is Gulfkanawut feeling towards Mewsuppasit right now? Mountain.
I will have it.
Mountain. So maybe this is...
I
Because
will,
I remember I said that Gulf isn't worried.
I will have it.
Gulf isn't worried. But Mew is. Mew definitely is. So I think this could... Alright, you take it and go in with Dad then. Go on. Take it and go and sit with Dad. It's my drink just gone anyway. The Queen of Cups, he's a beacon of healing and understanding and intuition for Mew, because he knows that this money matter or financial problem that Mew is so worried about will be okay. Will work out in the end. There is a secure financial situation waiting for them in the long term. That's kind of what I get from the Mountain, but let me pull another card just in case. Tell me more about this Mountain here. Yes, so we got incense burner here. So to me that straight away makes me think that Gulf is there to help Mew clear his mind of financial concerns and issues. Gulf is there to reassure Mew that it's all going to be okay in the end, financially. That's what I get from that. Okay, I think that's pretty good. I think that's pretty good. Alright. So we'll pack these up now and we'll move on to the oracle reading as always. Still haven't been able to fit the half an hour reading, have I? And I think so far today has been a smooth stream. So I really can't do it, guys. I can't do it like the other readers do and fit all of this information into one small half an hour video. Too hard. Put it in the too hard basket. Too hard. Especially because we do the oracle as well. As for reading for the other two, I don't know. Perhaps what I'll do is start another video for that, because I know a lot of you don't want to even know about the other half, so you know, it's best to keep them separate somewhat, I think. So yeah, I think that's what we'll do. We'll do another video for the other half specifically. For now, let's do the oracle for Mewgulf. Oh, we're going to need this one as well. Okay, so getting right on with it. How is Mewsuppasit currently feeling towards Gulfkanawut, Ebony? How is Mewsuppasit currently feeling towards Gulfkanawut and the situation? You're not sure today. Whoop. Okay, so that's a lot of cards. As you can see in the screen, that there's one card on top there, but hang on, let me flip and see how many cards we've got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 cards. Oh, alright, we'll take them all, because 5 cards, I usually put 5 cards out anyway, don't I? 3 on top and 2 on bottom. So, alright, so we got hammer. We got separation. We got the chaser. We got hand of cards, and we got heartbroken. Okay. Let me switch these cards now. So we want ebony. So the first card was hammer. Sabotage, rebuilding, interrogation, repetitive, persistent, working on it. Sounds about right. And separation. Well, straight away, that's like they're working on their separation.
Daddy said that Daddy
Thank you.
didn't like it.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. I need that, actually. I do need my drink. Thank you very much for bringing it back. Separation. Sadness, missing you, thinking about you, yearning, unsure of future. Yes. So,
Daddy, I want to play square cards. I want
you
to
can't-
play square cards.
you can't play square cards right now. Mummy's doing her cards. How about you go in and watch Dad?
No.
Or do you... Actually, no. Hang on a sec, guys. Yeah.
My tablet.
You can watch the Jetsons, which we put on here for you. Yeah?
Yeah. Is my tablet on?
It is. It's being a bit silly right now. You've been a good girl, so you can have a bit of screen time. Come on.
Look, the shed is stuck.
Hey, come on, tablet. What's wrong with you?
That's which question is it?
Not working. Alright, let me switch to my account maybe, because kids is just not working. Probably too early in the day.
Can I watch it?
Hang on. Alright, here you go. Go and watch that in the lounge room with Dad. Go on. Okay. Sorry guys. Yeah, so already that's like working on the separation. Working on the separation, the sadness between them. The continuous separation. Unsure of the future even for Mew. And what about the third card? The chaser. Chaser in codependent relationship, fear of abandonment issue. Fear of abandonment issue. Fear of abandonment issue is definitely Mew, and I feel like that comes into also like what he thinks people are going to think. So he's scared of people abandoning him based on what they're going to think about his future actions. Hand of cards. Hand of cards. There it is. Take a chance, risk, being strategic, options, not showing hand, and gambling. Being strategic is definitely what they're both doing, yes. Also because heartbroken comes after this hand of cards. I think it could even be, again, referring to he's not showing the world the truth about what's going to happen in the future, possibly. because he's being strategic about it, not knowing when it's going to happen or how at this point. Where's heartbreak? There. Deeply hurt, sad, separation, breakup, feeling lost, grieving, mourning. Yeah, so going back to this card, so definitely working on the separation between him and Gulf, or possibly even the separation between him and Tool. He could be working on the separation between him and Tool, working on his fear of abandonment, not showing out how things are going to happen, how this breakup is going to happen. You know, the lady in the other reading, she specifically said that she doesn't think the other party is aware of how Aquarius is feeling or what Aquarius is planning regards to his change of direction, change of plan, change of relationship even. And I said, it's very hard to believe that, I guess we'll just say it, Tool is unaware of the situation. It's very hard to believe, but if it is true, then this hand of cards basically means that Mew is not showing his hand of cards to even Tool of what he has planned for the future regarding how things are going to take place when the breakup approaches. Interesting. Alright, and how about Ivory? Let's see what you have to say. Thanks for not reading the other halves with Mewgulf. The energy of one of them always irks me. No worries, Nadine. Oh! Whoops. The cards were facing the wrong way there.
Like that?
Yeah.
First card that came out, Let Me Go.
George Jetson.
That really makes me think it's not about golf, it's about working on leaving the other situation. Let Me Go, attached to my ex, separation, attached to my ex. The Chaser, what about the Chaser? What can you tell me about the Chaser, Ivory? You're eager to tell me today. Not like you. Whoa, oh goodness, okay, now there's definitely something amiss here. You're giving me that many cards. I think I'll take those ones back and I'll just take the one that flipped, which is this one. The Chaser, I'm single. Yep, what I was saying about the move that he's going to make in the future. Again, the lady, I keep referring to this reading because it was just so spot on. But she was saying he may choose to be single. And it's going to shock the world, or he thinks it's going to shock the world. I'm single. So once he addresses this fear of abandonment, I'm single. And what about this hand of cards? What's this hand of cards about? Hand of cards about. He's not telling people what he's got planned, or he's being strategic about it all, or he's taking a risk in changing his direction. Whoops. Take the top one, I think. I don't think it's spoiling you. And what did I say? I said none of these, didn't I? Did I see something? Did something flash? Oh, right, yes, that's right. The first card showed, the nervous card, yes, spoiling you and nervous, okay. There's 4 other cards there, but I don't think we'll take them. If they want to show up again, they will. You know the drill. because I didn't see them. So heartbroken, we got obsessed. Okay. Alright, so let's get the cards, bring them up properly so everybody can see what we're talking about. There's opinions. I'm not going to say it's a coincidence, that card coming up, because I pulled that one up on purpose before when I was going through the cards. I picked that one. Alright, so where's Let Me Go? Let me go. You deserve all the good things in this world, and right now I am not in a space to give you the type of connection you deserve. Live your life and let me go. So he could be saying this to Gulf right now, as in, you know, what we saw earlier about they are both just getting on with their life for now. It could be in regards to that. And he's saying that to Gulf because he is still working on getting out of this other situation, or the separation that's got to take place before he can come back to Gulf. Attached to my ex, really, you know, kind of cements that. Attached to my ex, meaning his ex would be Tull in this case. I'm attached to my ex emotionally, physically, and or spiritually. I need time and space to break this connection. Yeah, makes sense. The I'm single card. Those readings you share all say the same thing. That's interesting. I know. It's amazing, isn't it? And I can assure you, it's not like I know the lady and we're, you know, communicating what to say or anything. All these different readers are saying the same thing. And it's just reassuring to me as a new reader that, you know, I am definitely getting the right idea from the cards when it all agrees with them. I'm single. Where's I'm single? There it is. I'm single. I'm single right now. I'm not attached to anyone and not looking to get into a relationship at this time. Well, that's definitely not the case, is it? So I think that with this fear of abandonment issue, this is what he's afraid of. This is what Mew is afraid of. He's afraid of being alone still. He still needs to work on his fear of abandonment, his fear of being alone, his fear of being single. Because as I've mentioned in many other readings in the past, he kind of does have to be single for a while in order to do the spiritual work, the shadow work, the emotional healing that he has to do in order to play the role he wants to play in a relationship with anybody. He has to be alone for a short spell, so to speak. So he's working on that. Spoiling you is next. Spoiling you. I want to give you the good life. I want to spoil you with gifts and trips, everything you could ever need or want. You deserve nothing less. And then that mixed with nervous. You make me nervous. Even just thinking about you, I get nervous. I'm not sure what to say or how to act around you. So I think this again plays into the idea that we were talking about earlier about Mew is scared, anxious, worried, nervous in this case about what would happen. What would happen if he chose Gulf? He's worried not so much about himself or about Tull, but worried about Gulf, which is really sweet, you know. He's painting himself the villain, but deep down he really does care about Gulf. He cares about Gulf enough to stay away. That's kind of what it is right now. So he wants to spoil him with love, but yeah, he's a little too uncertain of how things would go down if he made the jump at this time. And that's normal because it may not be the right time for them. It just may not be the right time for them simply because Mew still has a lot of inner work to do, as I just mentioned. And heartbroken, obsessed. I think I'm obsessed with you. I think about you all the time, stalk your socials, and hope I run into you when I'm out. Now this is heartbroken separation. Well, this could be Mew being obsessed with still showing his connection to Gulf. That's what I get now after playing all these cards. I know at the beginning I said it was about him until breaking up, but I'm kind of not getting that from this now. Unless I think I'm obsessed with you, run into you when I'm out. Unless this is about them, the way they're perceived. About the way they're perceived. He's obsessed about the way they're perceived. And possibly worried about making the fans sad when the breakup comes. Or, like I just said, it could be that he's obsessed with Gulf, and this separation between them is really hurting him, that he can't be seen with him in public. He actually wishes they would run into each other when they're out just by chance, even though it seems like they plan the opposite on purpose. It could be that as well. Yeah, I feel pulled more in the direction of that than what I said before about the breakup between Mew and Tull. Because I think that's still a long way off regarding, he's working on it and Mew still doesn't see a clear way to do so. So, yeah, I feel like he's not showing his hand of cards of what he has planned or what he's thinking in his head about how he can do things in the future. But he's obsessed with keeping some kind of connection with Gulf while they're still separate, and he's also obsessed with what people are going to think. Like I said, the way they're being perceived. What are you saying here? I will always be here for Mewgulf. That's lovely, Kelly. Oh, Mew, he has a lot of issues. He needs a really good therapist. Honestly, he doesn't need a therapist. He just needs to go within. The answer lies within. And in Mew's case, it's very true. He's got the answer. He's just not paying attention to it, or he's choosing to put it aside or postpone action towards it because of the current situation, because of his comfort zone right now. That's it. Fear of abandonment always comes up. Doesn't want to lose fame, his fans, etc. That's it. That's it. Fear of abandonment. But I think it's also about Gulf as well. Because if we go back to what we got before, it's like he's very worried. In Gulf's case, he doesn't want Gulf to get hurt. So, yeah, I think it's not just himself he's thinking about anymore with the fear of abandonment. I think he's thinking about both of them. And but still, I don't get the vibe that he's worried about Tull. Anyway. Oh, another card on the bottom there. No one compares. Add that to the obsessed card there. No one compares. Very fitting. That's come up many times for us as well. How come the card's not showing there? Have you seen any of the cards? You haven't, have you? Because I've had it not showing. Oh, you silly goose. Oh, sorry, guys. Never mind. It's alright. I've been reading them out to you anyway. You know them, you've seen them before. But the No One Compares card is the other one that's just come out. There. No matter how many people I've met and experiences I have, there's no one who compares to you. So that's very much saying Gulf is the one. No matter what, Gulf is the one. Alright, and to finish this spread off, we'll get the Divine Love. You know, we definitely don't need sugar coating, I don't think, today, but, wait. Oh, come on, just come out, will you? I don't want to show you cards to everybody. Oh well, never mind. The first card on the top everybody saw anyway. So I sometimes struggle to express my feelings for you is the first one there. That one just wanted to be shown no matter what. Alright, and one or two more cards please, Ombre, to add to this spread of how Mewsuppasit is currently feeling towards Gulfkanawut. One or two more. How is Mewsuppasit currently feeling towards Gulfkanawut? Okay. Oops. Almost fell. We are a perfect match made in heaven. Oh, that's so sweet. Gulf had that card last. And I had a crush on you from the very start. Well, you know what? That could be Mew just knowing that's what Gulf feels. Possibly. Since he had those two cards together in a previous reading. I can't remember which reading, but if you've been following me, you would know that those two were in a previous reading. Let me get... Again, I chose that card, guys. I chose that card, so I can't say it's a coincidence. Hang on. So the first one that came out was I sometimes struggle. Where is it? There, no. There. I sometimes struggle to express my feelings for you. Well, he would be struggling right now because of the distance. Even if it's only in public, right? And then the other cards. We are a perfect match. It comes to my mind, this song. Karako Gambadi. Where is it? We are a perfect match. Lost it. There. We are a perfect match made in heaven. Right, and then the other one, I had a crush on you from the very start. There it is. I had a crush on you from the very start. So they're the three cards we got for how Mew is currently feeling about Gulf. As I said, it could be vice versa as well. It could be this is how Mew thinks Gulf is feeling, or how he knows Gulf is feeling through possible twin flame, what do you call it? Telepathy. Or it could be how Mew is feeling about Gulf, which is really sweet. Okay. So, put those cards back now, and let's move on with how Gulf is currently feeling about Mew with the Oracle cards. Jetsons out there. Watching me, critics? Putting the cards away as thing as I can. Good thing those didn't turn over because we're not ready for them yet. Hang on. What have I done with... Where are you, Ebony? Oh. No, that's just the box. Where have you gone? Ah, there you are, hiding behind the mic. Okay, alright, so, oh, there's one already. Do you see that, guys? It's in my hand. In fact, I think it's more than one. Well, I was about to ask, so let's just ask and then I'll drop them. How is Gulfkanawut currently feeling towards mewsuppasit, Ebony? In fact, that's 3 cards. Wow. Alright, so what have we got? The Dragonfly, Love Call, Axe. Now we got 5 from you, so I'm going to get 2 more cards. Please, Ebony. 2 more cards, please, Ebony. Goodness, can you stop that infernal noise? Whoa. Well, that's 2 cards exactly. And then come back up there. Talking. Not enough. Okay. Interesting. So this could be showing sort of the hidden side of how Gulf is feeling right now. So on the outside, even to himself, he's hope for the future all day long. But then he's only human, and where he starts to feel affected by the current situation. That's what I'm getting as a whole here, but let's get the cards. Whoops, not you. Ebony. Why aren't you showing, Ebony? Hang on. Just get the Dragonfly and then see why it's not showing. Where are you, Dragonfly? Did I not say the... Didn't, there it is. Dragonfly. Alright, so that's not showing. Why aren't you showing? Do I need to reconnect you? Hang on a sec. There we go. Alright, so the Dragonfly. Be lighthearted, finding out, things coming to light, adapt, change, heal. Okay. And then Love Call comes next. I think I'll just read them all out first. Someone expresses love, a message of love, thinking of you, and letting you know. And then we have Axe after that.
Yes. It will go again.
Breakup, separation, stop the pattern, silent treatment, abandonment.
It's a different one.
And talking.
Is that movie or not game?
Yes. Moving. The little man it's called.
Interested, conversing more, awaited message arrives, text, call, email, hoovering. Again, I don't know what hoovering is. And then not enough. Frustrated in relationship, lack of confidence, self-sabotage, fear, ego issues, and jealousy. Okay, so I think what I get from these cards is that Gulf is thinking that Mew is thinking lightly of the matter, that they are not talking or not expressing love, or just basically connection, the connection in public. I think Gulf thinks that Mew is what was I going to say? Mew is Mew is taking things lightly about all the connections that they still have. Possibly. Possibly even with someone else. This could be about how much fun Mew is having playing the role with the other and showing that to the world, perhaps. Or perhaps how stopping it. Stop the pattern. Stop the pattern. Talking and not enough. Maybe this is about they are talking, because that's come up in other readings before, but perhaps Gulf feels that talking about ending things and talking about putting an end to the current situation is not enough. Is not enough. That's what I'm getting. It frustrates him, and he may feel that Mew has an ego issue or fear ego issue, like abandonment issue, for example, and he's jealous. Of course, he's jealous. He's jealous that Mew is still being shown with someone else. So, yeah, talk is not enough. Talking about how things should be and what changes they want to make in the future is not enough. Gulf needs to see action. So right now, he's watching Mew take the connection or what's being perceived in public lightheartedly, and you know he's not stopping the pattern. Or perhaps Gulf has even stopped showing love to Mew so much, or expressing his love to Mew so much, because talking is not enough. I'm just getting it, really. Talking is not enough. Talking is not enough. That's the message I'm getting more than anything right now, is talking is not enough. So the ball is in Mew's court. He has to do something. He has to make the change. Alright, how about Ivory, can you add to this spread? Tell us more about this dragonfly, please. What or who is this matter of the dragonfly? Being lighthearted, or finding things out, or something coming to light, or adapting to a change, or healing? What's this all about? Oh, whoops, there's a card already came out. The wild side. Okay, the wild side. And love call. What's this love call card about, please, Ivory? In regards to how gulfkanawut is feeling towards mewsuppasit, what's this love call about? Expressing love, messages of love, thinking about you and letting you know. Let the past go. Oh goodness, I've got a few cards here. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 cards came out. I think possibly this is a card for each here. Finding myself and missing you. Interesting that if I do that, nervous comes out for axe. Nervous came up for Mew before, about he's nervous. He's nervous to, what was the card? Nervous to, I can't remember, but it was about, overall it was about he was too nervous and anxious to take the chance, wasn't it? Hand of cards, wasn't it? Hand of cards. He's nervous to change things right now. Axe. If hand of cards, if one of the cards in his hand of cards is an axe, nervous. talking, finding myself, yeah, okay, and not enough, missing you. All kind of relates, I think. Hang on, let me get these cards up. So let's get back to Ivory. First card was Wild Side. There's a side to you I haven't seen and want to. I want to see you let loose and get wild. Let's have some fun. So like I said, this could be about what he's doing currently, like on social media, on the press, on all these talk shows. There's a wild side he's showing about being with the other person, basically. The wild side, the business entrepreneur side of him. Love call, let the past go. Where's that? Let the past go could not necessarily mean the past, his past with you, but this could be Mew letting the past go, as in the past with Tull there. Can we rewind time and go back to before we were both broken down by life? Our past hold us back from our future. Could be. What I straight away get catapulted to in my thinking is when Mew had his burnout. As we've said many times on this channel, Tull was there when he had his burnout. And it all sort of happened from there, didn't it? Gulf was there too, I'm sure, but he was very, like, up to his neck in work commitments, so he obviously couldn't be there as much as somebody else could. Nervous. We've already had nervous, but I'll pull it up anyway. You make me nervous. Even just thinking about you, I get nervous. I'm not sure what to say or how to act around you. So yeah, he's very much nervous about how to pull the string on this thing, how to cut cords. And Gulf knows that. And talking. Oh, what am I? Talking is ebony. I'm on ivory, silly. Finding myself is what I want. Finding myself. Yeah. It was time I went within to find myself again. I need to figure out what I want out of life. I need space. So, like I said, going within. I said that, going within. It's time for Mew to go within. Find himself again. Get realigned with what he truly wants out of life. And he's talking about it. Maybe he's talking to Gulf about, you know, this is what he wants to do. But talking is not enough. Gulf wants to see action. He misses Mew. He misses Mew. I miss you. I wish things were different is missing you. I miss you. I wish things were different. So yeah, for Gulf, talk is not enough. He needs action. And while Mew is hesitant about taking any action, Gulf continues to miss what they had. Miss his presence next to him when in public, most likely. Alright, and what about you, Ombre? What can you add to this spread of how Gulfkanawut currently feels about mewsuppasit? I bet Gulf missed Mew's presence mostly when they sang that song, because he sang that song with Mew more than anyone. I always knew there was something different about you. That's nice. And at least one more card, if not two. Oh, look at that. 2 cards. I wanted to tell you so many times already how much I missed you. Sweet. And blank card. So the blank, in this case, I think the blank card represents this part of the reading. That there's really no action. The action card is blank. This also goes, if we go back to the idea that Mewgulf haven't been together all this time, like we believe, and it's more of a twin flame situation. Separated twin flame, that is, because they're twin flames anyway, but separated twin flames. Then this would definitely relate to how Gulf is feeling. He's wanted to reach out and tell Mew many times how much he misses him.
Different show.
For example.
I told you. There'll be another one after it too.
Okay, so that's that. I think that's a pretty clear message right there. And what time it is? Yep, we've got time to do a reading for the other 2 on another live. So shouldn't I? So I will organize that. Hopefully it'll all go smoothly, because I didn't have as much time to prepare that idea of another stream. So hopefully we can still make it all work properly. I should be able to, hopefully I can just hit end stream and then start another one. Hopefully it'll be that simple, but we'll see. It's from my end, it seems that streaming has been great today, but I don't know, because I'm not looking at YouTube directly. I didn't get my NBN, as you all know. I told you it didn't work out. So there's no difference with the connection or anything. Perhaps it's just a good day today. I'm not sure. Yeah, so I'll do that. Also, before we go, before I switch over, hang on, would you say something there? No matter what Mew does, he cannot keep fighting the universe. No matter what Mew does, he cannot keep fighting the universe. It will be... Oh, you changed it. Okay, Nadine. No matter what Mew does, he cannot keep fighting the will of what is to be. Ultimately, the universe will interfere and realign. Exactly. Yes, I believe that too. What will be in the end. But before I do end this stream and move over to the other 2, I'll pull my Buddha Wisdom cards as well, because it always seems like a nice way to end a reading. So, Buddha Wisdom. What is your advice for Mewsuppasit right now regarding his situation with Gulfkanawut? Help someone today. If you light a lamp for someone else, it will also brighten your path. Interesting. Any more? Before you speak, let your words pass through 3 gates. Is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? those two cards together make me think about how many possible lies are being told, or how many maybe not lies, but deceptions are being spread. This is like, this reminds me of what the monk said. Remember when Mew was doing he was ordaining, and the monks said something about be honest, you know, just be honest. I can't remember the exact words, but it was pretty much saying that, just be honest. Be honest. And this is kind of reminding me of that. He's saying, you know, even if you have to perhaps keep agreeing with things on screen for the sake of appearances, etc., stop coming up with new deceptions and new possible lies just for fun, because that's what it feels like that he might be doing. So yeah, just sort of stop feeding into all that deception, and just let things go. Let go and let God in regards to what's happening. Maybe one more? Can you give me one more from you, and then we'll see how you feel about golf. Oh, two. Okay, two. I've got two here. In the end, only three things matter: how much you loved, how gently you lived, and how gracefully you let go of things not meant for you. There's a big hint there. Let go of things not meant for you. You can't change how people feel about you, so don't try. Just live your life and be happy. There comes through of how Mew is definitely still thinking about how everybody is going to feel. Well, cards here say you can't change how they're going to feel. Just do it. Do it and live your life happily. Stop pleasing the world, as your song says. Okay, that's cool. And I'm going to flip these over. And we'll do a quick pull for golf. And then I'll say goodbye and move on to the next one. So what is your advice for Gulfkanawut in regards to how he feels for me right now in his current situation? This card was already facing up. You probably saw that. When you find no solution to a problem, it's probably not a problem to be solved, but rather a truth to be accepted. Okay. And what else? Can you give us some more advice for golf? Bit of wisdom? Life will keep bringing you the same lesson over and over again until you learn it. Maybe one more? Before you assume, learn the fact. Before you judge, understand why. Before you hurt someone, feel. Before you speak, think. Wow. Okay. This could be about... Maybe this is about him staying, you know, as emotionally detached as he is, somewhat, to what's happening between you until this card in particular, before you assume, learn the facts. So before you assume anything going on between those two, know the facts of how Mew actually feels. Before you judge, understand why he's doing these things or why he's making these decisions. I think golf does this already anyway, but I guess this is just to reinforce that. Before you hurt someone, feel. And before you speak, think. Perhaps it's to remind golf that it's a very sensitive time and a very sensitive matter for Mew right now. So even though he may sometimes, you know, start feeling a bit like the victim, or start feeling sad about the current situation, try not to let too much of that get back to Mew, is kind of the message I'm getting. Because he has enough pressure on him as it is, you know. Him knowing that he's making Gulf feel that way would probably not help. Life will keep bringing you the same lesson over and over again until you learn it. That could be... What could that be? Maybe that's more towards Gulf about the possibility of he's not ready. He's not ready yet to drop everything and change his life on behalf of love. And perhaps that's his lesson. He needs to learn to... He's got everything else right, you know, where his loyalty lies and everything. It's all with his family, with his work stuff, etc. But perhaps he still needs to address that lack of focus in the love department. Perhaps that's possibly something. When you find no solution to a problem, it's probably not a problem to be solved, but rather a truth to be accepted. Again, I think Gulf is very familiar with this mindset. That's why he's just let go and let God. He's just getting on with life. He's not letting it hold him captive at the moment. Because, yeah, he's saying it's not a problem to be solved. It's something he just has to accept the current situation as it is. Because it's not up to him. It's Mew mainly who has to make a change if there's going to be any change. Because if anything, there could have been a change. That was possibly Mew's ticket out right there if he had gone to Gulf's concert. Because it wouldn't necessarily mean that they were coming out as a couple, would it? They could just come back as a co-worker, the same way Mild and Counter and High did. It would put them in the same category. That Mew is just coming back as a co-worker, as a previous work partner. So it could have worked out, but I think overthinking how people would react stopped them from doing it.
Look, the movie's going again!
Going again!
It's
Right.
going...
Anyway, let's leave it there.
Can you please have a look? Can you please have a
I
look?
don't need to have it. Well, okay, well, just wait. I'll do it in between strains, okay? Just wait a minute. Alright, I'll put these cards away and then start the next one. So thank you everybody for watching this one. If you wish to see or you're curious about the other side, then I'll be as quick as I can to get on again. If this is where you want to end things today, then that's totally understandable. And, you know, just stay strong. It's definitely not over. You know, Waanjai on, because there's a future ahead still. I mean, even one other thing, the lady in that reading, she pulled the Three of Wands. And if you've been following me since the beginning, you know that Three of Wands holds a special meaning for us. It's almost like the Waanjai card, because that's the card. That's the first card I got when I asked if Waanjai are delusional. We got Three of Wands, meaning we see further in the future. We see expansion. We see a way in the future. We see beyond what other people see right now. So, oversight, I think, or foresight? What's the term? Anyway, oh, hang on, let me just pull it up. It's a nice way to finish. Let me just pull the Three of Wands up. Where are you? Quick. There you are, Three of Wands. Preparation, progress, foresight. That's the word I was looking for. Foresight, enterprise, expansion, and overseas opportunities. So I feel like that's the Waanjai card ever since I got that response. And it's come up